Before October 5th, 2012, Westminster, Colorado was the kind of place where parents didn't worry when their children walked to school. A town of bike rides, backpacks, and after-school snacks. But all it took was one morning. One child. One predator. What happened to 10-year-old Jessica Ridgeway would shatter a community and send chills through the entire nation. Her story isn't just one of tragedy. It's a disturbing glimpse into the mind of a killer hiding in plain sight. Here on this channel, we uncover the true crime cases that leave scars, stories that demand to be told, no matter how dark or painful. If you believe every victim deserves a voice, and that justice should never be forgotten, subscribe now. Because what happened to Jessica Ridgeway should never happen again. It was a crisp Friday morning. Jessica had her purple backpack slung over her shoulders, her long blonde hair pulled back, her glasses perched perfectly on her nose. She was running a bit behind that day, but still determined to meet her friends at Chelsea Park, like she did every morning, for the walk to Witt Elementary. But that morning, Jessica never made it to the park. She never made it to school. And by 4:30 p.m., when her mother, Sarah, realized the school had marked her absent, panic set in. Frantically, Sarah called police. She called friends. She knocked on neighbors' doors. But Jessica had vanished without a trace. Police didn't hesitate. They issued an Amber Alert that evening, but already, precious hours had slipped away. In the days that followed, thousands joined the search. Volunteers combed forests, backyards, drainage ditches. The community flooded social media with Jessica's smiling face, her bright eyes beaming through the digital noise. But behind the scenes, something darker was already unfolding. If you are drawn to this chilling story of Jessica, click on the subscription button and turn on notification. Your support allows us to continue telling stories that matter. On October 7th, just 2 days after Jessica disappeared, her backpack was discovered in a quiet neighborhood in Superior, Colorado, 6 miles from where she was last seen. Inside the bag were her school books and a water bottle with her name on it. The zipper was partially open. The bag looked deliberately placed. 2 days later, a discovery even more chilling was made. A set of human remains was found in a field near an abandoned mining area in Arvada, less than 7 miles away. It would take days to confirm what everyone already feared. The remains were Jessica's. But police were faced with a disturbing problem. The body had been dismembered. The killer had tried to obscure her identity. Whoever had taken Jessica hadn't just killed her, they had tried to erase her. The investigation hit wall after wall. Tips poured in thousands of them. Officers chased leads across counties, comparing DNA and questioning sex offenders. They pleaded with the public for help. And then, in a strange twist of fate, a woman made a call that changed everything. It was October 23rd. A teenager named Austin Reed Sigg had confessed something horrifying to his mother. That he had done something terrible involving Jessica. That he couldn't live with himself. That if you are yet to click on that subscription button, go ahead. And do that now. Your support will help us shed more light on stories that matter. His mother made the call. Police descended on their home. DNA samples from Austin matched evidence found on Jessica's backpack. Within hours, the nightmare had a face, and the monster had a name. Austin Sigg was just 17 years old. On paper, Austin seemed average, even quiet. A student at a local community college studying mortuary science, he had struggled with depression and social isolation. But beneath that unassuming exterior was a festering darkness. Sigg had developed a fascination with death, with forensics, with violent pornography. He had attempted to abduct another woman just months earlier, dragging her into his car by her backpack straps before she escaped. Jessica wasn't his first attempt, just the first one that succeeded. The details of her final hours are too horrific to fully recount. But Sigg confessed that he had lured Jessica into his car, taken her to his home while his mother was out, and what happened next was the product of a deeply disturbed and remorseless mind. He kept her body for days before dismembering it. He flushed parts of her remains down the toilet. The rest he left in a field. He was not insane. He was calculating. And worst of all, he was living under his mother's roof. Austin Sigg was charged as an adult. He pleaded guilty to all counts including first-degree murder, sexual assault, and kidnapping. The courtroom was packed with reporters, neighbors, and Jessica's shattered family. Kindly click the subscribe button and turn on notification, because in Dark Matters TV we tell stories others are too scared to tell. The judge handed down the maximum sentence allowed under the law. Life in prison with no possibility of parole, plus 86 years. But for Jessica's family, and for the community of Westminster, there could never be enough justice. Because what do you do when the person who took your child was a teenager, someone else's child? What do you do when evil wears the face of a boy next door? Jessica Ridgeway's memory lives on not only in the hearts of her family and friends, but through legislation, memorials, and school safety programs enacted in her name. Her favorite color, purple, has become a symbol in the community worn proudly at charity walks, vigils, and playgrounds renamed in her honor. But there's something else Jessica left behind, something invisible but deeply felt. A warning, a chilling reminder that predators don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they wear backpacks. Sometimes they smile. Sometimes they live right across the street. Jessica was only 10 years old. She loved cheerleading. She had a shy smile and a stubborn spirit. She had her whole life ahead of her, a life cruelly stolen by someone who should have been too young to hold that kind of darkness. Her story is a painful one, but it's one we must tell because remembering her means protecting others. Speaking her name ensures that her light never fades completely. If stories like Jessica's matter to you, if you believe every child deserves to be remembered and every voice deserves to be heard, consider subscribing to our channel. We share real stories that must never be forgotten, giving voice to the voiceless and seeking justice, one case at a time. Justice for Jessica. Subscribe for more true crime stories that matter. Because every name has a story,